Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another week, another episode of the Philly Pod. I am Dave, along with my friend Mike. We welcome you back, and boy, pretty exciting week there in Philly sports.
Yeah, got the Sixers returning.
Yeah, the Sixers opened up. This is our 76ers preview show. We're going to split it up. Half the show we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, who actually, Mike, are in the middle. They're about to tip off now as we are recording the show. We've got it up here on the screen. Pretty exciting. So we're going to split it up. We're going to talk about the Sixers first half. Second half, we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, they have a huge divisional matchup with the Dallas Cowboys coming up. So a lot of things going on here in Philly sports. And, we are recording on a Saturday. And coming up this week is Halloween. So we figured a fun way to kind of incorporate that into the show. We're going to be having a little Halloween trivia, a little Halloween general knowledge trivia here throughout the show. Competition against Mike and myself. Mm-hmm. We haven't determined what the prize is going to be for. We'll probably have to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely have to discuss those terms. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, but we've got a great show lined up for you guys here today.
Do.
So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. Obviously, earlier this week, the 76ers tipped off their season with a close loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the now Kevin Durant-less Oklahoma City Thunder. And there were a couple of really exciting things that we saw there in that game, Mike.
Oh, definitely. I was actually, as we talked about during the week, and I had the Sixers winning that game, and I was, feeling a little confident.
You had them outright, yeah. You had them winning the game outright, yeah.
I was feeling a little confident for a while there, but I think that if Embiid played a few more minutes, if he was a little more healthier, I think the Sixers probably win that game.
Yeah, I think they covered the 9.5 for you though.
They did.
So you got that part of it.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. I mean, and watching Joel Embiid play, like he's the real deal. Like he's the next coming of Hakeem.
Yeah.
He's next Hakeem Olajuwon, man.
I mean, you look at what he did in the short time frame that he was allowed to play. 22 minutes, 20 points, 7 boards. Who wouldn't take that for a rookie?
And it's tough to say. He put up similar numbers to those in the preseason, but I was holding off on the excitement. I was very excited to see what he would do, but I was holding off a little bit just because it is still the preseason. But now seeing him do that in a regular season game against a team like the Thunder, that was some impressive stuff, Mike.
That was. I mean, we both watched the game. We were texting back and forth, and we were both like, the hype is real. I gotta say, the hype is real with Embiid. Preseason, you do have to hold off a little bit of judgment because it's only the preseason. But after seeing, his performance on Wednesday night, that he's here to play.
He is. So it still adds to the excitement. It adds to everything here, as Mike dubbed it last week, the Philadelphia Muth movement. The Muth movement is in full swing.
Yes, the Muth movement.
But Embiid's legit. And now it's exciting because now you have two guys between him and when Simmons comes back. It is going to be...
They got some size.
The possibilities are going to be... I can't wait to see what they do on the court. And it started, it started making me think in my head, what are reasonable expectations now for this team going forward when you have a difference maker like Joel Embiid? Obviously, we know they're not anywhere close to making the playoffs or even being a 500 team.
Yeah.
But what should we expect this year coming, Mike?
I've got them pegged at anywhere between 20 to 30 wins.
That's a pretty wide range.
It is, but I think that you think about Ben Simmons being out. Obviously, they do have some talent, so I don't expect it to be them faulting from lack of talent. I just expect it to be them a lack of inexperience that'll kill them.
Now Vegas has. Now you said anywhere from 20 to 30 wins, which that's a pretty huge margin. I'm going to tighten the screws up on you here. Vegas has them has the line that the 76ers are 24.5 wins. You taking the over or the under on that?
I'll take. You know what? I'll take the even.
They're going to win 24.5
All
wins.
right.
They're going to get half a win.
I think I'll take the over, but it won't be as big of a margin. Like, I don't think it'll be close to 30. I think it'll be more like 25 to 26.
I had to take the under. Can they do it? Yeah, they might be able to eke out 25 wins. Probably 26 would be the absolute most. They're probably going to win 22, 23 games in that range, which is an improvement compared to last year where they were.
Yeah,
but they actually have legit talent this year on the team. Now, I'm looking at the roster, and still a couple of things that worry me. Like, the starting lineup, you had Embiid at the 5, you had Robert Covington at the 3, and you're able to slot in Dario at the 4. Dario had an okay game. I thought he didn't really shoot the ball particularly well, and he had a bad shot coming down the stretch there. But Dario played all right. But the problem's going to be, I don't know what they're going to do lineup-wise when they get Simmons back, because now just thinking about it, obviously you're going to, if Sergio Rodriguez, when Jared Bayless comes back, I assume he's going to slide in and take over the 1 spot. You still have Gerald Henderson to play the 2, Covington at the 3. Then when you get Simmons back, then you have possibly an issue. I don't know. I guess you have to play Simmons. Well, maybe not. I guess you have to play Simmons at the 4 and then Embiid at the 5, and Dario comes off the bench. But then what do you do with Jaleel?
He's probably going to be coming off of the bench.
Yeah, he might have to. He might have to. I don't know if there's going to be there might be times. There might be times you might be able to have them. You might be able to have all 3 of them on the court at the same time. But boy, that's a lot of big men there, because you're going to be able to have Simmons run the point for limited minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It still presents some problems. I think there's still some ways to get around that. But looking at the rest of the team, you have Dario, who's going to be a talented player. Obviously, Embiid's a stud.
Yes.
How about his first shot of the game? His first shot of his pro career, from top of the arc, takes a 3-point shot. Now, it didn't go in, but just that kid's got no fear, man. That's what that told me.
It got the crowd excited.
It did. All right, so here's what we got. We got our first time for Halloween trivia. Have our first question coming up here. We did a coin flip behind the scenes for who would go first, have to answer the first question. Mike won the coin flip. He elected to defer, so he is going to read off the first question for the trivia, and I will have to answer it. What do you got for me, Mike?
Okay, what is the given name to a group of witches?
A group of witches?
Yes.
Oh, man, I have no... I don't know, a flock. That's what it is.
A flock.
A flock of witches. Is that it?
Wrong, sir. Wrong. It is a coven.
Oh, coven. Oh, a coven of witches. Oh, man. Okay. All right. I never heard that before. All right. But, yeah, the Sixers, they're big. All right. So that's actually, hang on. Let me write that down. So that's 0 points for me so far. Okay. Your question's coming up here in a minute. But it's just not enough talent here left on the roster for the 76ers.
Yeah.
Covington, Robert Covington stunk in the preseason, so I was a little surprised to see him out there. He's going to be their 3-point specialist. He played okay, but there's just not enough talent around. Gerald Henderson made some plays, but going forward, he's not going to be able to keep that pace up.
Yeah, I think what you have here are a few talented players and then a bunch of role players where they just come off the bench on most teams. But because we're kind of in a flux here with talent, I expect that, or not an influx of talent, because you don't have a whole lot of talent to really work with at the moment. I think that'll create. I think you have a bunch of role players.
Okay.
Bottom line.
All right, here's what you've got. Ready? Halloween trivia. First one for Mike. Get on the board early.
Okay.
The mask in the film Scream, which became a popular costume for dressing up at Halloween, was based on a painting by which artist?
I got Donatello.
Donatello. That is incorrect. The actual artist was Edvard Munch.
Wow.
I've never even heard of that guy. Have you?
Neither have I.
All right, so we're both off the flying starts here. We're both 0 for 1.
Yes.
0 for 1 on the Halloween trivia. But, all right, so you got the Sixers. Obviously, you have Ben Simmons coming back in March. You have them pegged at 25 wins. I'm going to say they get 23.
Okay.
So I'm taking the under on the Vegas. How many wins do you think Ben Simmons accounts for himself?
That's tough to tell because we don't know what are the minutes going to be like when he returns.
Good point.
Because you know that with an injury like that, you're not gonna see him get a whole lot of minutes to start off with. So I think that he's going to be part of the winning. It just won't be him being the key factor in the winning. I think it'll be him coming off the bench.
Do you think they're going to limit his minutes?
I would hope. I think so. At least to start.
Okay.
I don't expect them to rush him in. You want to make sure he's healthy enough. They want to make sure that he's got the in-game stamina to handle those minutes. So I think you work him in.
I mean, it makes sense. He's your prize guy. You don't want to coming off of an injury like that. He's already come out and said that he's going to return when he's healthy. Which, you know what? Fine. At this point, I'm in no rush to get him back out there. The Sixers they're not going to win anything this year. So take your time, Ben. Get healthy. Come back when you're ready. All right, because I want to see him out there healthy. I want to see just go through the same. It's not the same injury. I'm not saying Simmons is going to be out for this period of time, but go through the same thing Joel Embiid did. Do your thing, come back healthy, and then we'll take it. Because even with him and Joe together, they're not going anywhere this year.
There's no rush. I mean,
no, there's not.
Why? You're not going to win a title. You're not going to make the playoffs. So if you have to take a whole year to get ready, fine. We've already done it with Okafor and Embiid. So is Simmons really that much of a difference?
Well, he is. I mean, he is a difference maker.
He is. I mean, let me rephrase that. Is it really? Do you really want to rush him back though? Is that. No,
you don't want to rush him back.
No.
If he's not healthy, don't rush him back because it's not like we're going to be making a push for the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's just too many holes on the roster. Like coming off the bench, like T.J. McConnell coming off the bench. All right, he had a good game in his debut, 7 assists, but he stinks. He can't shoot the ball. That's a hole right there. Sergio Rodriguez had a good game, but again, there's another weakness. And then coming off the bench of Hollis Thompson and Nick Stauskas. Okay, both guys played well. But I think that game was more just, all right, we're hyped for the season, then these guys can actually play.
I mean, like I've said, most of these guys on an NBA roster with talent would be role players.
Yeah, without a doubt they would. I mean, majority of these guys aren't going to be contributing members on an NBA roster.
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming up. Another round of Halloween trivia. Ours 0 points for each of us. It's 0-0 right now. What's my next question, Mike?
Which country celebrates the Day of the Dead instead of Halloween, which includes the tradition of passing a live person in a coffin through the streets?
Give me Mexico.
You'd be correct.
There we go. All right, on the board. That's 1-0. All right. So let me see what we got for you here. Okay. Next one coming up here for Mike. I got to get it back up here on the phone. Complicated operation we have going on here for our listeners there. Okay. Next question for Mike. I'm currently up 1-0. Who wrote... This is so wrong. Who wrote the novel The Witching Hour?
J.K. Rowling.
That is incorrect. Anne Rice is the answer we are looking for.
Oh, God.
Is that like a common book, The Witching Hour? I've never even heard of that.
It sounds familiar, but I could be wrong. I've heard the saying, the witching hour, but not, I don't think I've heard of that.
No, I've never heard of that. I don't even know that. I didn't even know it's a popular Halloween book.
Yeah.
Man, but when Simmons gets here, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting for the Sixers for sure. So when do you think they can make a legitimate playoff push? What do you think we're looking at?
I think you look about 2, maybe 3 years down the line. I think that's realistic.
They need a couple more pieces.
Yeah.
They need a couple more guards. They need to upgrade that. They need someone who can really make a difference maker in that field. And we might get that because we're going to get another lottery pick coming this draft.
Yeah. I think they need a scorer. I think that's one of their top priorities, whether it be this year or next, this offseason or the following offseason. You're going to need a scorer.
Oh, for sure. And Ben Simmons, he might be that guy. But we have to wait and see what his game's going to look like and what it translates to at this level. I have a pretty good feel he's going to be a legitimate talent in this league as far as distributing the basketball, getting boards, scoring. I think he'll be able to work his way there. But I don't know if he's ever going to be. I don't know if he's ever going to be like that guy who can take over the. He might be, but he's got to work on the jump shot. I think there's a possibility that he can, but at this point, I can't say. I can't project that part going forward. But he is a very, very special talent.
Oh, he is. I think right now, I think it's just the waiting game. The name of the game is the waiting game.
Yeah, it just stinks. We have to wait and see. But the Sixers are definitely moving in the right direction.
And it's exciting.
And there are a lot of people who ripped Sam Hinkie for it. You guys have heard this up and down. But say what you want about the guy. He got the pieces for us in place here. He drafted Joel Embiid. What that whole process was, they were able to get Ben Simmons. They were able to get Jahlil Okafor, Dario Saric. This is going to forever will have Sam Hinkie's blueprint on it. Say what you want.
And I'll tell you what. This could be the Sixers version of Ed Wade.
It's funny you say that. It just might. It just might because Ed Wade was responsible for getting all those pieces in place with the Phillies back in their golden years, and then Pat Gillick was able to come in and put the finishing touches on it. All right, so here we go. I'm up again for Halloween trivia. I'm currently up 1-0 on Mike. Mike, what do you got for me for my next question?
Okay. What would you traditionally bob for at a Halloween party?
Oh, apples.
You'd be correct.
Ah, there we go. Oh, that was an easy one. That almost wasn't fair.
That was a gimme.
That almost wasn't fair coming off of what you just had to deal with. Holy cow. All right. Now, score is currently 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here is your question, Mike. Originating from a story about an Irish blacksmith, you ran into the devil in a pub. Oh, wait. Okay, I see. All right, originating from a story about an Irish blacksmith, you ran into the devil in a pub. What is the name given to a pumpkin if it has a face carved into it and is illuminated by a candle?
Jack-o'-lantern.
You would be correct. Mike is on the board.
Finally.
Right, so that makes it 2-1. All right, 2-1. By the way, what are we going to play for here?
That's a good question.
Loser buys Halloween candy?
All right,
that's a good one. Candy of their choice.
Yep.
All right, that sounds good. Oh, by the way, the World Series was in Chicago, and it was in this past week. They had the first World Series game at Wrigley, I should say, since '45. They got Bill Murray to sing. Did you see that? Bill Murray sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
That was horrible.
I thought that was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Was that just me?
That was weird.
What was up with the speech too to try to hype him up?
I think he had one too many to drink.
I think Bill was hitting the sauce a little.
Yeah, a little too hard.
A little too hard there. Yeah, it might have been. He's a big Cubs fan. Maybe he got a little too excited with him coming back in.
By the way, I read online an article about that. The pubs in Chicago around Wrigley Field, people were there 15 hours ahead of game time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great for business.
Yeah. And it was really cool to see, too, because, outside of Wrigley, and you saw it last night, too, you had people surrounding Wrigley Field listening to the game, outside of Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool to see, actually. You get to see. I mean, I always wanted to see that World Series game at Wrigley. There's all kinds of things going. I saw something this morning that a guy is filing his divorce. Apparently, they have World Series tickets that apparently were up for grabs. Mm-hmm. And now, his divorce, I guess he took it to court today. He's fighting to get the World Series tickets for the next Cubs, the next game at Wrigley.
Oh, God.
But they're having all sorts of fun with it out there.
As they should. I mean, it's been 71 years. You got to make the best of that.
It's been a long time covering for the Cubbies. They're down 2-1 in the series as of this recording. I don't like to root for other teams, but this is a time where I can say I'm openly rooting for the Cubs to win something.
And I would agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Since 1908, Cleveland just got theirs with the NBA title.
They also got the AHL title, but that's a different story.
The AHL title?
Yeah, they're the Cleveland Monsters. They're located in Cleveland.
Who cares about the AHL title?
I'm just putting it out
Mr.
there.
Hockey, yeah, Mr. Hockey would. Of course, Mr. Hockey would bring up the AHL title in Cleveland. What are they called?
The Cleveland Monsters.
The Cleveland Monsters?
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty nice tie-in here with their.
Yeah.
You know, since you mentioned the Cleveland Monsters, and it is a Halloween weekend, let's just go ahead. We'll do another round here of Halloween trivia.
All right.
2-1. All right, what do you got next for me? I'm feeling pretty good. What do you got?
Okay. With which horror film would you associate the character of Leatherface?
Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You'd be correct.
That's an easy one for me. I love horror movies. You a big horror guy?
Not really.
No?
No.
Oh man, I love them. Like all those things, like Michael Myers, the Halloween, Jason Voorhees. I love stuff like that.
I mean, I'll watch them from time to time, but they're not my forte.
Not you don't like you like thrillers. You just don't like the blood and gore.
Yeah, the blood, gore, the suspense.
I love the suspense.
I don't buy into that. I'm sorry.
That's what. Well, have you seen the original Halloween?
No.
Oh, that's what made. Now it's a slasher film, but that's what made that movie so good. It was just so suspenseful. Those of you out there who've seen that movie, you would know what I'm talking about. So that makes it currently 3-1, Mike. You're not looking good here for the candy. Just no pressure going into this next question. All right, here's what we got for Mike. Often played at Halloween, which song was a hit for Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers in 1973?
They did the mash. They did the monster mash.
You would be correct. There you go. That was a nice job by you.
Thank you.
Very popular song. That's a great song.
It
by
is.
The way.
It is.
All right, so that makes the score now 3-2. And on that note, we're now going to move it along here to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. And by the time we're recording on Saturday before the big showdown with Dallas, and it's a big game. Big game, Mike. You got 5-1 Cowboys. Eagles are 4-2. This is for the division lead. Cowboys are 4.5-point favorites going in. This game's in Dallas. I think this is a tough game for the Eagles. For the Eagles to win. That's my first reaction to it. Can they go in there and win this game? I mean, sure they can. They just took apart the Minnesota Vikings and did what they did to them. But there are a lot of things about the Cowboys that don't match up well for the Eagles. Number one, you have Des Bryant coming back against those corners, and Ezekiel Elliott getting the football as often as he does.
Ezekiel Elliott scares me, man. He's such a good running back. I mean, he's been dominant this year.
Yeah, and with Benny Logan now missing this game, that's going to be an opportunity for Elliott to have a huge game.
Not to mention you have to deal with Dak Prescott, who another phenomenal rookie down there in Dallas.
We're not going to spend too much time breaking down the game because most people listen to this podcast afterwards. All I'm going to say is if the Eagles can stop Ezekiel Elliott, hold him in check in the running game, they have a great chance of winning this game. I think the key to beating Dallas, you have to stop the run, make Dak Prescott prove he can beat you in the passing game, and then go from there. That's what the Giants did week 1. They held Ezekiel Elliott to 51 yards rushing, and they ended up winning that game 20-19. That's what I think. That's all I'm going to say. That's how the Eagles win this game.
You know what? I think I'm going to add to that, if they can win the time of possession battle and move the ball down the field effectively, I think that's another way the Eagles will be able to beat the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. Keep that offense off the field.
They're going to have to. But this game's got huge implications for the division, and I think for the playoff race in general for the Eagles. Because right now the Eagles are in the middle of a very, very tough stretch in their schedule.
They are.
And if they can win this game, they get to 5-2. Now, they lose it, they drop to 4-3. They win it, 5-2, you're tied for the division lead, technically in the lead since you have the tiebreaker at the moment over the Cowboys. Their schedule going forward is really, really tough. Mike, you got that up there in front of you?
Yes.
All right, well, what do you got? We've got the Cowboys this week. I'm going to give them, I don't know what way I'm going on this game, just for conversation's sake. I'm going to give them a loss. And let's say they're 4-3. What we're going to do, we're going to look at the schedule going forward, see how it shakes out. So I got them losing to the Cowboys as of right now. What do you got?
I got them as a loss.
All right, next up.
At New York Giants.
I got to give that a loss, too.
I'll give them a win.
All right. What else you got?
Home against the Falcons.
I think they can win that game. Seeing the way Atlanta's playing, I'll give them a win there.
I'll give them one, too.
So I got them 5-4. You got them 6-3. Okay.
At Seattle.
Loss. 5-4. Okay.
Home against Green Bay.
See, these games are so tough week to week. Like, I'd have to give them. I don't know. I don't know who wins that game.
I think that's a toss-up.
That is a toss-up, man.
You know what? If they keep playing well, I'm going to give them a win.
So I don't know. Just go through the rest of them here.
At Cincinnati.
Okay.
Home against Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Away against Baltimore. Home against New York. And then finally home against Dallas.
Man, see, I can't even. I can't even say wins or losses now that we actually went down the schedule and did that, because those are some tough games the rest of the way.
They are.
Like the Atlanta game, I mean, I look at that game, I definitely think they can win that game. The Green Bay game, I have no idea. The way Green Bay is playing right now, Aaron Rodgers normally is a mismatch against the Eagles secondary, but Aaron Rodgers is not playing like Aaron Rodgers like right now.
No, he's not. And it's just that Green Bay, you get a different Green Bay every week.
You do. And they're a tough team to figure out. Washington, I think they can. Yeah, I think they'll beat Washington the second time around. I think we get them here at home. But this game, this Dallas game, I have no feel for this game. I don't have a feel for where the Eagles stand most of these games. Like a lot of times you can size up the schedule and look at the opponents and you can say, all right, that's a win, that's a loss. I feel like there's only a couple of games left down the road that I feel confidently either way. The rest I have no clue.
Yeah, it's really a coin flip of most of these games. You just look, it just, you never know. It's a week-to-week thing.
No, so right now they're 4-2, and they would. I got the standings up here. They would be one of the wild card teams right now if things hold up. All right, so rest of the way, let's take a look at the rest. Read that schedule off again.
Okay, at New York,
right.
Home against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Away against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Home against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Away against Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Home against Washington. Away against Baltimore. Home against New York. And home against Dallas.
So, I'll put them down for 4 wins right there, because I think they get the Cowboys, Giants, and Redskins all at home. And I'll give them the win against the Falcons. So that's 8 wins right there. So if they can eke out another 2 wins in there, that would be 10 wins. Is that going to be good enough to win the division? Probably not. Just looking at how the Cowboys are right now. But it might be good enough to get a wild card.
I'd be fine with that.
Now the key is they're not going to be able to lose another game like they did against Detroit. They can't put up another stinker in a game they're supposed to win. Like Baltimore's not looking like anything really good right now, but that's still a tough game going into their place.
It is.
And the Packers game is a toss-up. So right now, I think you can definitely lock him in for 8 wins. I'll give him that. Definitely 8 wins for sure. They got to be able to squeak out 2 more in there.
You know what? I'd honestly be fine with a wild card or 8-8, only because you look at Doug Peterson. We didn't really know much about him.
Yeah. With
the exception of he comes from Andy Reid's tutelage. So if you would ask me if the Eagles would finish 8-8 at the beginning of the season, I'd be fine with that. Especially with Carson Wentz.
I would have taken that too, but it's a little bit different when they start out 3-0. And now you start to think, all right, well, and you beat the Steelers the way you did. Now you start to get your hopes up for a little bit more. So I think a little more is expected of them now that they started out 3-0. And I do expect them to make the playoffs. I've been steady. Since I saw the way Carson Wentz is, I expect them to make the playoffs right now. I do. I would be a little disappointed if they don't. Now, it's still way, way better than what we thought we were going to do this year. But at this point, I want a playoff appearance out of these.
So do I.
And you mentioned Carson Wentz, and he's taken a lot of heat the last 2 weeks because of his play in games. And so I'm going to ask the question. Obviously, he didn't play well against the Washington Redskins. He struggled at times against the Minnesota Vikings. Is Carson Wentz starting to regress? Or is this more just the learning curve that we're seeing a rookie quarterback go through?
I think it's more of a learning curve. You got to remember, he's a rookie. rookies are going to make rookie mistakes, most likely. I think it's just the learning curve right now.
I mean, I look at the last... I agree with you. I look at the last 2 games. I can't even really count the Washington game because the offensive line was so bad there. Last week, though, he looked like a rookie. Mm-hmm. He went against the best defense in the league to start out that first quarter. And he made 2 bad interceptions. One was just a purely bad throw. Lost his mechanics, made a bad throw, got picked off. And the other was just he saw coverage that he had never seen before and got fooled. What I was impressed with is the way he responded the second half, even in the Washington game. All right, he held it together, could have easily folded, turned it around, and put together a decent game both times. So I'm not really concerned about Carson Wentz at all right now. Did he have a bad game against Minnesota? Yeah, you could call it that. But he held it together, took him back down the field, scored a touchdown. He's a rookie. Listen, is he an above-average rookie? He absolutely is. And, oh, man, we just saw Jaleel Okafor make a good... that was a strong move to the rack there. Yeah. We got the game on up here while we're recording. Sixers are down 25-34 right now to the Hawks. Oh, no, it was Embiid. I'm sorry. Embiid with the strong move to the hoop.
Can appreciate that.
Yeah, how about him driving, taking it to the hole? Another thing that we like about Embiid.
Fearless.
Yeah, man. But Carson Wentz, he's not regressing. This is just...
Him being a rookie.
Yeah, it's being a rookie. And we said that. And we said that weeks ago. Like, hey, there's going to be times where he looks like a rookie. And we saw that against Minnesota, but it's how he responded. He came back strong and he was fine. So I have no concerns about Carson Wentz going forward.
Neither do I.
So, and then the other big thing going on with the Eagles, a lot of trade rumors flying right now about the Eagles possibly acquiring a wide receiver. The 2 names that have been floated around are Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. And, Torrey Smith, I'm not a Torrey Smith guy. I think he would give them a dynamic right now that they could use throwing the ball down the field. But even Alshon Jeffrey he's a game changer. Yeah. He's having a tough year out there in Chicago. But see, for me, like, it all depends what you're going to have to give up to get both of these guys.
Yeah, I think if you want to make sure that you're not giving up a whole lot. I think the Bears, you would definitely have to give up something to get a guy like Alshon. But Torrey Smith might be the more reasonable option right now.
Yeah, for Alshon Jeffrey, like, people now are going, people really want Alshon Jeffrey. They hear this big name receiver. But what we got to remember, he's a free agent at the end of the year. And the Bears are saying they want at least a second-round pick in return for him. And if I'm the Eagles, no, I'm not doing that deal. Contrary to what a lot of people want. And the only way I make that deal for a second-round pick is if I have a contract ready for Alshon Jeffrey to sign, and I have a guarantee from him he's re-upping with us. Yeah. Because to me, it's not worth giving up a second-round pick to get Alshon Jeffrey for 8 games.
When he's a free agent at the end of the year.
And there's no guarantee he comes back. Yeah. I agree with you. I think Torrey Smith is the better option there. Because now, he's not a number 1 receiver. We know that. But he gives you that down the field. He gives you the ability to throw the ball down the field, that breakaway type receiver that the Eagles haven't had since Deshaun Jackson. Yeah. Do they get him? I mean, they probably don't. We don't really see trades like this happen frequently in the NFL. Although with Howie Roseman, though, you never know.
I mean, look at what he did with Brad.
Boy wonder. Yeah, you saw the moves he made to get up to number 8, dumping Alonzo and Maxwell, then going up to get Carson Wentz. So who knows? Maybe he does pull some magic here.
And then Bradford to Minnesota a week before the opening season game.
So if they can get something, if they can get one of these guys and they don't have to give up much in return, then hey, I'm on board with it. Mm-hmm. What would you want? What would you be willing to part with for Alshon Jeffrey? What do you think would be reasonable?
Maybe a 3rd round pick, 4th round, 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, I would want 4th round pick. I would give 4th round pick for Alshon, and if not, then I'll take my chances next year in the draft or in free agency. I haven't seen the list, but no, I don't want to give up too much for Alshon Jeffrey unless I have a guarantee that he's going to be coming here and re-upping with us. Torrey Smith, I would think you probably get the same thing, right? 4th, 5th round pick. Yeah. I don't know what the Niners are asking, but the trade market for Torrey Smith, the trade value for Torrey Smith can't be that great. Yeah. All right, we're moving back along. Kick it back over to Halloween trivia. I am up 3-2. My next question's coming up here with Mike. All right, Mike, what do you got for me, man?
In which 2 continents might you find a vampire bat?
Oh, vampire bat. And two continents.
Yes.
All right. All right, let me think of that. All right, here's what I got. I'm going to go 1, Europe.
That'd be wrong.
Oh, man, really?
Really?
Oh, wow. All right, how about my other one, Asia?
You'd be wrong again.
No kidding. What are they?
North and South America.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
Wow, I would not have thought that. I thought that was for sure, like that other side of the world. They really have vampire bats here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I have to do more research. I've never heard about vampire bats in our area. Have you?
Yeah, no. I've seen fruit bats around our area, but that's about it.
We'll have to look that up before the end of the show. Get that out there. All right, so Mike, you have a chance now to tie it. And this is actually, this is the last question for Halloween trivia. So if you get this question, we have to find a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
All right, here it is. You're not a scary movie guy, right?
Yep.
This looks good for me. I'm a heavy favorite, I think, right now, seeing this question. Here we go. In the film Halloween, for how many years was the killer locked up in an asylum before he escaped?
13 years.
Oh, so close. The correct answer, 15 years, which means I am officially your Halloween trivia champion. I do get a candy of my choice from Mike. Man, I keep racking them in, man. So I don't mean to throw salt in the wound. I'm sorry, but I had a good week last week with the pick segment. Nailed a couple more sandwiches off it. Now you got candy coming. You're going to be owing me a whole smorgasbord here pretty soon, man.
Yep.
Oh, that was a tough one. That's kind of a tough draw for you. You got a Halloween question in there, or a movie question in there.
Don't worry, I'll beat you come Christmas time. Christmas trivia.
Oh, I don't know. You might be good. Some of my Christmas trivia is, well, it depends on what. If we're going, like nativity, all that stuff, yeah, you're gonna have an edge there. Man, so, all right, for real though. Right now, I'm gonna put us to the test here for the Eagles against the Cowboys. Right now, who do you think wins?
Cowboys.
See, I've looked at this game every which way, and I still don't have a feel. Man, it's one of the games in their pool. I'm leaning Dallas right now. I have a slight lean to the Cowboys just for the fact I think they're a better overall team than the Eagles. But like I said, if they stop Ezekiel Elliott, it's game on.
Yep.
Whether or not they can do that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, which defense are you going to get? The one that stopped the run game last week, or the one that couldn't stop the run to save their lives 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we'll see. This will be a better test whether or not they actually got that figured out. All right, time for grind time, though. And I do not have a grind this week. I am told. Mike, by the way, Mike last week had a legitimate grind last week. We got some feedback on that. The viewers appreciated that, Mike. They're glad. They enjoyed it. What do you got for us this week?
SEPTA. This is the SEPTA that's going to go on strike in a couple of days if they don't get a deal done. Wednesday night, I'm waiting for my train. It's 10 minutes late. The Sixers game is on tonight, or that night. I want to get home. I had a long day at work. But I got to wait for SEPTA on the regional rail because they're late. They're late. Earlier this week, my dad, he took an off day, he took a sick day, offers to take me to work.
Ah, nice of him.
SEPTA, the line in Center City, 50 minutes late.
50 minutes late?
No, I'm not joking.
Oh, was that Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got caught up in that nonsense, too. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Thursday night, the Flyers are on. And what do you know? SEPTA's late again. I'm missing the Flyers beat game. I'm already missing the Flyers game because I work 11 to 7. But here you go. SEPTA, another, being late again, 7 minutes late. It's like, what the heck, SEPTA? Get your stuff together.
Dude, they suck.
They do.
SEPTA is a mess, man. I'm going to jump in on that grind with you. They suck, dude. It feels like every day. It feels like every day the train is always late.
Now, granted, if there's snow or it's raining out, you have to be careful, but it was sunny on Thursday. Or it's like
Thursday it rained.
Oh,
that was the day we had all that rain.
Oh man. All right. But it could be it could be clear as day out, and they'd be late for some dumb reason.
I'm with you. It seems like it's one thing or another with SEPTA.
It is.
We're moving along. Time now for the Buzz, where we bring to you headline news from around the world, around the globe, around the country, local news, anything that catches our eye, any interesting stories, we're going to bring it to you. Here's what we got this week. Mike, we're keeping it within the country, and we are heading down to Texas A&M University, where this incident occurred just off of the Texas A&M campus. Apparently, a university student was driving, and she smashed, rear-ended, the back of a police car while she was driving. Well, bad move for her right there, bad luck. But apparently the police officer when he got out of the car to talk to her, apparently she was topless. Did not have, that speaks for itself, not have a shirt on, no bra, nothing.
Yeah.
So the police officer asked the question, well, man, why were you, why do you not have any clothes on? Her response, well, I was in the middle of taking a selfie that I wanted to send to my boyfriend. Obviously, she was then arrested. So she gets arrested for taking a topless selfie of herself, smashes into the back of a cruise car.
Wow. What is she thinking there? Taking a selfie while driving is dumb enough, but, you're not wearing any clothes? I mean...
Maybe she wants some action a little later. I guess, obviously, she was hoping for something.
Yeah.
She got a little different kind of action, I think, that she was anticipating.
Yeah, but, what are people thinking, when they do stuff like that?
Don't you think, when you're taking your shirt off, there's a moment there where you can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you're probably going to figure that something's going to happen.
A nice little surprise, I guess, for the officer when he pulled up, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't complaining too much.
Yeah, I would think not.
Maybe suddenly the broken tail light. That's not as big a deal.
Yeah.
No, but... All right, then, Mike, we're going to keep it in the United States again.
All right. And
staying in Texas again.
Texas is very popular today.
It is, especially for the Buzz.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a tow truck driver has come under fire for something that he has done. Here's the story. A tow truck driver was called in to tow a gentleman's Nissan GTR, which was a custom-built car.
Right.
He needed to fit apparently he has mobility issues. Well, when the tow truck driver saw that it was a GTR, he could not help. Not only did he tow the car, but before towing it, he was so enamored with the vehicle that he could not help but take the GTR for a joyride before towing it. Now, what the tow truck driver did not realize was that the owner of the car had it fitted with a dash cam that caught every moment of this joyride. So when it was towed and the owner got to it and could get back into his car, he found the footage of the tow truck driver taking it for a joyride. Immediately called police.
Oh, God.
Still no word on what is going to happen for the tow truck driver, but it is currently under investigation.
What is that? Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Like, seriously.
Oh, that is hysterical.
It's like, don't you take the time to kind of like, scan the surroundings of the car? I mean...
Maybe it was like one of those tiny fiber optic cameras and he missed it.
That's funny.
I hope it was worth it.
I hope so, too.
Hopefully he's got a backup career lined up.
Yeah. That's something you don't want to get caught, caught doing.
No.
Well,
definitely not. Not especially when you're a tow truck driver. That can't be good for his business.
No.
That's probably over.
Yes.
All right, there you have it, the Buzz. And now we've got coming up our pick segments. Last week, Mike pushed. He went 1-1, nailed the under in London between the Rams and the Giants. Whiffed on, in two ways, he whiffed on the Redskins and Lions. Didn't get his pick correct. He lost the sandwich to me. I went 2-1. I had the Lions winning that game. I got the Eagles upsetting the Minnesota Vikings, but I whiffed on the Cardinals covering the 1.5 against the Seahawks. That game ended in a tie, so I did not get that one. So I went 2-1. Mike went 1-1. All right, since I had the better record, I think it's fair if I start off this week.
Okay.
All right, so first up we've got the New England Patriots traveling up to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Patriots are 6-point favorites in that game. This is a revenge game for New England. Tom Brady is back. The Patriots were embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills the last time they played, and LaShawn McCoy's not playing. I like the New England Patriots to cover those 6 points, easily defeat the Buffalo Bills. And I've also got going to go down to New Orleans, where the New Orleans Saints are taking on the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks are a mere 2.5-point favorites against the New Orleans Saints. I'm taking the New Orleans Saints to not only cover the 2.5, I think they win that game. They upset the Seattle Seahawks coming into the Superdome. So give me the Saints to win that game. I like the Patriots at -6 and the Saints at 2.5.
I almost took that New England game. I was debating it, but
oh wow,
yeah, I kind of stayed away from it. Yeah, I figured, because I've been picking New England a lot lately, so I was like, yeah, I'll pick something different.
Okay.
Let's go down to Tampa, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers host the Oakland Raiders. This game is a pick'em. Give me Oakland to win that game. Then we'll head up to Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers host the Arizona Cardinals. The Panthers are a 3-point favorite in that game. However, I doubt them winning. So give me the Arizona Cardinals at +3.
That's an interesting. That's a tough game, man. You picked two games. I'm not sure which way they're going to go. Wow.
Yeah. Gotta take the chance,
All right. So there you go. I've got the Patriots covering the 6 at Buffalo. I've got the Saints upsetting the Seahawks in New Orleans, and Mike has got the Raiders winning in Tampa Bay, and the Cardinals winning in Carolina. All right, so there are our picks of the week. You can lock them in. You're guaranteed winners. Moving on now to shout-outs. We had an awesome week in social media.
We definitely did.
Yeah, thank you for everybody who followed us, downloaded on iTunes, YouTube, everything. We appreciate it all. We're going to kick it off on Twitter, where we killed it this week, I have to admit. Tons of shout-outs, so here we go. On Twitter, we want to give a shout-out to NFL Outsiders, Thon TH, Phillip, Jersey Kid Picks, Aaron Kate Dolan, Trent Flynn, and Eagles Sports Talk. Shout-outs to you guys.
Also, we have shout-outs on Twitter from the Philadelphia Eagles fan page, Gene, Christopher T., and Daniel Parla Greco. On SoundCloud, we have Ashley Hothin and Nayana. And then finally on Facebook, we have Don Luna.
Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you for all the support on Twitter, on Facebook, on SoundCloud. Listen, remember, we are available for download on iTunes. We just figured out how to get a link posted to both the Facebook and Twitter pages. So make sure you check us out there. We're available for download on iTunes. You can catch us on SoundCloud, on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at the Philly Pod. Like us on Facebook. We thank you guys so much for everything that you do. Keep on listening. Keep on rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. So thank you. Can't thank you enough.
A lot to be excited about.
Definitely.
I don't know what's going to happen in the Eagles game tomorrow night. I'm still not even sure which way I'm going with my pick in our pool. But it's going to be a fun game to watch either way.
It definitely will be. And then, of course, you got a whole lot of Philadelphia sports going on this weekend.
Rivalry week. Of course, you got the Flyers taking on the Penguins. Any chance they win that game?
Maybe.
That does not sound like a confident maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the Flyers seem to play better against the playoff caliber teams, but I don't know. We'll see what Flyers we get tonight.
We'll see. Good weekend in Philly sports coming up. Good week in Philly sports coming up.
Yes.
Well, hopefully this time we record next Saturday, we're talking about an Eagles. We'll be happy about an Eagles and win over the Cowboys, and we'll be getting ready to take down the New York Giants.
Yes.
Time to sign off. I'm Dave.
I'm Mike.
We'll catch you guys next week for another episode of the Philly Pod.
Later.